I forgot to move the mic closer to my mouth. Hello and welcome everybody. New tech has finally been released in the PTS server, which I'm downloading as we speak, and the stats of all the weapons have been released, which is really good. And we can just go straight into weapons. I don't really care about the PTS testing methodology because PGI probably won't listen anyway. That's just me being super jaded. Anyway, let's get to it. So first of all, we look at like machine guns. What? Okay, so looking at this right off the bat, light machine guns, the only thing they have over normal machine guns is extra range. I was thinking they would be like a quarter ton. They're not, so that's unfortunate. They actually should be a quarter ton. Like the range increase by itself is not worth it over normal machine guns. Because machine guns, you normally put them on knife fighters anyway. Heavy machine guns have significantly less. Oh god, that's really bad range. Actually, 240 meter optimum range is pretty decent. You might run light machine guns if you want to play with your machine guns at further back, but I don't really see the point of that. Heavy machine guns look to be pretty decent. Like the DPS is pretty good. Tonnage investment is pretty low as well. But the range is gonna be a huge problem. You need to try and play around it. But other than that, like the machine guns look decent. I don't really have much to say about the machine guns, honestly, because there's very few mechs that boat machine guns really well. DOS rifles, we have the light DOS rifle. Now this is... light DOS rifles gonna be an interesting place because it's a lot of tonnage investment. Like, you'll probably have 12 tons plus like 2 tons of ammo, so 14 tons total. And then you only do like, what, 8 damage with a singular light DOS rifle. It's a really big tonnage investment, and it's probably not gonna be that worth it. Like, yeah, you get 100 meters more range, but that's it. It's nothing much to write off on. Heavy DOS rifles. This is an interesting weapon. So, oh wait, what? Light DOS rifles also still have a 5-second cooldown? PGI, you're just making this weapon really useless. Like, it should not have a 5-second cooldown. It should have like a 4 or 3-second cooldown. Especially, actually, it should have like half the cooldown of the normal DOS rifle because, well, it does half the damage. Pretty much half the damage. The fact that it has a 5-second cooldown makes it like there's very little reason to run the light DOS over the normal DOS. And like it doesn't make any sense. Anyway, let's just get straight to the heavy DOS rifle. You can see the stats over here. It produces 2 heat, cooldown 6.5 seconds, understandable, I'm perfectly fine with that. Max range is 810 meters while the optimum range is 180. That's pretty interesting. And the projectile speed is halved, which is okay, considering that its optimum range is 180. So you use these weapons in brawling range. I think the heavy DOS rifles having their optimum range at 180 meters is okay, so that they won't start out being really OP, because they have 25 pinpoint damage, no splash. And 5 shots per ton, that's actually not terrible. But yeah, 180 meters worth of range. And the fact that you have to trade an LFE for a standard to run a heavy DOS rifle, because it's 11 slots, you can only put it in a standard engine torso. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. We're gonna have to test it out once the patch is done. Like I hate this patch here, dude. Like if it was on the Steam client, I would finish downloading it already, but it's taking way too long. So that's that. LBX can, well, LB20 is gonna be shit right off the bat, and you need to trade an LFE to mount an IS LB20. I was hoping they'd make it 10 slots to make it somewhat useful, but there's like absolutely no reason to run an LB20. It takes up 1 more slot, and it's not pinpoint. Like, sure, it has higher optimum range, but who cares about the optimum range of an LB? What you care about is its spread. Oh, it has a lot more shots per ton. I guess that's one decent selling point, I guess. Question mark? I don't know. The rest of the LBs over here pretty much operate the same way as Clan LBs, so I don't really need to talk about them. It's nothing new. But LB20, it'll be... my assumption is gonna be that it's gonna be mostly irrelevant over a UX20 and a normal AC20. But the increased ammo, the increased shot per ton is pretty good. I'm a fan of that. Oh, because it's an LB, that's why it has a lot more ammo. Ah. No, wait, no. I'm stupid. The increased ammo is only for the 10 caliber cannons. Anyway, moving on. Okay, so UX20, let's see. They don't say how many shots the ultras do. I'm hoping that the ultra 10 and ultra 20 are single shot ultras. The heat, oh yeah, this is what I expected. TGI made the UX27 heat as well. I was hoping they reduced the heat on it. That is really hot. Wait, what? Somebody in Discord saying IS UX are like Clan UX. So certain values will define. No, they're not. They're not. Like, we don't know whether they're single shot or not. I have to go to the PTS and actually test it, but yeah, I can't show it in the PTS yet. So my assumption is that basically if the IS UX are not single shell, like the UX 5, they're gonna be really bad, like trash compared to the clan ones. That you have no reason to run an IS UX boat over a clan UX boat at that point. They are 1 ton heavier than their standard AC counterpart. That's normal, that's understandable as well. Cooldown is the same, range is the same, shot per ton is the same, so pretty much everything's the same. It's pretty much a 1-for-1 copy of the ISACs except their ultra variants. Whether or not they are single shell or not remains to be seen. Now Rags, the moment we've all been waiting for. Like, I know a lot of you have been excited for the Rags. I'm gonna actually read the caption here, whatever you're gonna call this. Innisphere now has access to rotary autocannons, a new ballistic type unique to the Innisphere. Rags are extremely rapid fire autocannons but can jam if fired for too long. So that means that you can manage your jam meter, which is pretty good, and it's less reliant on RNG, which I hate about UX and about how RNG it is. It reduces the amount of steel required to use the weapon, but that's beside the point. A distinguishing feature of rack weaponry is the spin up time required before firing commences, along with the subsequent spin down time. That's fine. Racks are extremely prone to jamming when the jam gauge, located in the associate weapon group HUD. Oh god, you have to look at the HUD. You have to look at the bottom right of your screen to look at the jam time instead of it being on your crosshairs. That's really dumb. I'm not a fan of that at all. But anyway, let's just move on. When it reaches a maximum redline state, but will not jam if the pilot maintains the firing pattern within the recommended operating limits. The jam gauge is impacted by the spin up time. Okay, let's look at it here. So racks do sheer DPS and they don't do single shell damage, and so it's like machine guns. So it's like machine guns but in autocannon form. So it's really heavy. Like, racks are extremely heavy, like 2 tons heavier than their normal AC counterpart. Produce a lot of heat, like 4 heat, 2 heat. That's a lot. Range is pretty decent. Yeah, these are like normal Park 2 ranges that you can make use of. Missile spread. I like how they call it missile spread and ballistic spread. So there is a small form of RNG associated with the rack, so they have a little bit of tone of fire, which is perfectly fine. If not, there'd be like no reason to run ISUX, and it gets a lot of shots per ton. I'm really excited to see how this works in game, because right now we only have numbers and we can only assume with the numbers how they will operate. But yeah, this I would do a coverage once this thing actually finish patches, but it's not gonna do so anytime soon. So pretty excited for how IS racks will work. I think the best rack boats will obviously be like the Mauler, the King Crab, the Annihilator. What else? The Cyclops will be pretty decent. I'm pretty excited about the racks because the ballistic meta, I miss the ballistic meta. When they blanket nerf ballistics just because of the Kodiak, it became a very boring state of the game because UX were pretty fun to use. Annoying to get hit by, especially by someone who knows how to track your CT really well, but they were really fun. That's pretty good projectile speed. Now, this is very workable, the projectile speed. I'm okay with this. So racks right off the bat look they're gonna be decent, if anything else. Maybe they might be very powerful, I don't know, but the tonnage investment is a lot, so that's that. ISER lasers, the one we've all been waiting for. Let's just skip through this. IS medium laser, same damage. The heat, ooh, that's a lot more heat than I thought they would. So it's exactly 1 more heat than a standard IS medium laser. That's fine. Significantly longer cooldown, that's fine as well. Okay, so standard medium laser has 3.4 heat, and then the IS medium has 4.5 heat. So what that basically means is that I probably don't want to put mediums in anything that is already struggling with heat efficiency. Optimum range that's a pretty decent increase. It's like roughly 100 meter increase, like 90 meter increase over standard medium lasers. I'm perfectly fine with that. Okay, IS medium lasers. I know I'm saying a lot of stuff. I'm thinking here. They look to be decent. The heat might be a bit of an issue, but if you're running a really heat efficient mech, actually this pairs up really well with Gauss rifles. So like you're running a Warhammer with 4 ER mediums and dual gauss. That's 50 pinpoint. And if you get all of the range nodes, that's like 400 and... Wait, I need to math. 420 meter optimum range roughly? I'm not really good with math. That's pretty decent. And the duration as well is... This is normal medium laser duration, by the way. This is pretty good. Yeah, if you're... I think that ISER mediums would pair up really well with Gauss rifles. That's my assumption. Yeah, so the mech that benefits the most from this is probably gonna be the Warhammer, if you like running the dual Gauss build on it. Other than that, I don't really see what other mechs would run this decently well enough. I don't really care for ISER smalls. Like like small lasers are pretty junk in right now in the game anyway, so I don't particularly care about them. PPCs. Let's move to snub noses. Okay, light PPCs are 2 slots. Nice, 3 tons. 5 damage. So basically, a light PPC is half of a PPC. Oh. Oh, what? Oh, I don't like this at all. Light PPCs generate, like if you have 2 light PPCs, it generates more heat than a standard PPC. I am not a fan of that, like not at all. Oh boy. I was hoping that the heat would be like half of an ER PPC, but that's not. Oh, I'm not a fan of that at all. Not in the least. Oh, okay. I think light PPCs will still be usable, but I'm not a fan of the heat numbers. Anyways, snub-nose PPC, 6 tons. Yeah, it's pretty much the same as a PPC, except you have half of the range. Same projectile speed, same health. So it's basically gonna be a PPC with no minimum range, and it's gonna be a quote-unquote brawling PPC, like giant quotation marks. But I wouldn't recommend brawling PPCs in the first place, because they're really hot. They have horrible damage to heat ratio, and it has like half more heat than a standard PPC. I don't understand these heat values at all. It doesn't make any sense. Considering that you're dropping so much range, the range deficit should be enough of a trade-off, and you give it more heat than a normal PPC. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, heavy PPCs, okay, so 4 tons, 4 slots, 10 tons, that's fine. 12 damage. What? That's very... Wait, hang on. Sana, help me out here. Heavy PPC Sana. How much are heavy PPCs supposed to do? 15 damage for 15 heat. And you only... Oh my god. PGI is so scared of power creep. So, heavy PPCs are supposed to do 15 pinpoint damage, and what they've done is made it do 12 pinpoint damage. I hope that the other 3 remaining damage is at least splash. If it's just 12 pinpoint damage and no splash, like the other 5 damage is not splash, I'm not gonna be happy with it. Honestly, I feel like the heavy PPC should have been 15 pinpoint, or at least 13 pinpoint with 2 splash, 1 to each adjacent component. This is not good at all, because Clan ER PPCs are 2 slots, 6 tons, and do 15 damage. Granted, 5 of it is splash, but this is like 4 tons heavier and 2 slots more. And then you only get an additional 2 pinpoint damage. That's not very good. Like, the range and everything's fine, the health and everything's the same, we don't need to look at that. It's mainly the damage that disappoints me. They need to... Like, my initial impression of it is that they need to buff it to at least 13 pinpoint or 14 pinpoint. Because... PGI, they are so scared of power creep. Like, really scared. I would have been fine with 15 pinpoint even. Like, this is coming from someone who enjoys using PPCs and uses meta a lot. Like, but still, like, I'm not a fan of this at all, because the tonnage investment is a lot, and it's really hard as well. I'm fine with the heat right now. Well, less so knowing that the damage is only 12. But like I said, we have to see how it works in game. Let's move on to... I don't give a shit about streaks, moving on. MRMs. They look to be a 1-for-1 representation of the Sana counterpart. Yeah, MRM 10. Yep, the heat. Tonnage. I have to see how MRMs... Okay, projectile speed, really important. How fast do SRMs travel? I think... Ooh, that's not bad. Like, they travel 100 meters per second. I know that IS streaks travel the same speed as IS SRMs, if I remember correctly. So the projectile speed increase is pretty good. Like if you have the tonnage for it, I think you can boat MRMs fairly well. Like instead of, but it depends on the spread as well. Yeah, that's a good point. The spread looks, oh yeah, the spread's really huge. There'll probably be a high burst damage weapon that you use to shred armor, but not exactly to go for kill shots. I think MRMs would be pretty decent. The cooldown is pretty low. It's fine. And it's interesting how the cooldown is scaling when you go higher and higher, but still. But yeah, I think MRMs would be decent right off the bat. The projectile speed's nice. The range is nice, 450 meters, that's very usable. The missile spread, we have to wait and see. You probably have to boat MRM, so use a high caliber MRM for it to be effective. The shots per ton, so you do 240 damage per ton of ammo. That's pretty good considering that SRMs are 200 per ton of ammo and LRMs are 180, so MRMs actually do more damage per ton of ammo. So TLDR of the MRMs is that they're gonna be a high burst damage weapon that just shreds armor, but getting kill shots with them is gonna be pretty hard considering that the missile spread is pretty huge. Alright, moving on to rocket launchers. Rocket launchers are basically one use missiles. So like, say if you're in a grasshopper, for example. Oh, you're in a grasshopper, you have your standard 3 medium lasers, 3 large pulses, and then you want to make use of that, you know, that missile slot in your head. What do? You mount a rocket launcher 10, single use, and it's only half a ton. Yeah, I didn't. Wow, that's a... Oh, okay. PGI definitely wanted rocket launchers to be useful. So, the first thing that comes to mind is an archer with 9 rocket launcher 20s. So what's 9? Oh, you can... Ooh. One shot, one kill, Widowmaker here. The range is pretty... Wow, yeah, projectile speed's good, range is good. I can see rocket launchers being used in the game to actually being used, because look at their damage. Even, yes, I know they're single shot, means you fire them once and you can't use them anymore. But still, that's some really good damage you need to get, like that extra kill shot, for example. That's really good, and the missile spread's not too bad either by the looks of it. It looks to be like Clan ISSM4 spread. Well then, rocket launchers look to be not a complete meme weapon anymore. You actually might be able to fit them in some min-maxing loadouts. I'm gonna have to try this out when the patch goes live. New equipment, stealth armor. Okay, I'm gonna have to read this. The Inner Sphere now has access to stealth armor, new armor type to the Inner Sphere. They only be equipped by ECM capable mechs. Stealth armor operates on it's on the M. Oh, B is battle grade, M is okay. So, an active stealth armor make your mech invisible to enemy sensors and targeting systems. So basically, instead of investing into the ECM tree, you did invest into stealth armor. Okay, when stealth armor is active, your mech will be prevented from dissipating any heat your mech is generating. In hot environments, it will toss gradual build of heat even when your mech is not in motion. Oh, so you have to use this situation. It's gonna cause a lot of potatoes to overheat. Once stealth armor can be activated, it will make a period of 10 seconds before it can be reactivated. However, stealth armor can be immediately deactivated once activated. Sounds reasonable enough because they don't want people to be toggling it and abusing its cooldown. So, right off the bat, what I think about is that people like potatoes who equip stealth armor with their with the ECM mechs are just gonna overheat a lot. Especially if they forget to turn it off in the middle of battle, they're just gonna overheat and shut down. So this is probably a potato trap. I'm not sure how this will work in the meta. It's 12 slots and you don't need any tonnage reduction, so I don't know what to think of it. We have to wait until it's in game to try it out. Light Pharaoh. Now, Light Pharaoh, I'm actually this is gonna be pretty good for min-maxing in the max. Like, oh hey, you want more tonnage, but you know, shit, I forgot what I was gonna say. Okay, so Light Pharaoh is gonna be pretty decent in mechs that have the slots remaining. Like there's a lot of mechs that have a lot of excess slots but not enough tonnage, and you can put Light Pharaoh in it to upgrade, like maybe the engine, put an additional heatsink. It's pretty nice for IS mechs. I think Light Pharaoh have a place in the game, but it won't really change up everything like Light Fusion engines, for example. Light Fusion engines are basically an in-between of IS standards and IS XLs. They are in between the tonnage of IS XLs and IS standards. They operate like Clan XLs in the fact that you lose the side torso, you lose the heat sinks inside of that side torso. but you are still alive. So you operate at like 75% functionality. When you lose the side torso with light fusion engine, this is gonna be really good for mechs like the King Crab, the Thunderbolt. What else actually can benefit from light fusion? The Cataphract can benefit from it a lot. Is there anything else? Hunchback? Yeah, Hunchback pretty decent with an LFE. I don't think there's many. There's a lot of mechs, but I can't really name them right off the bat. The Zeus and the Awesome. There we go. They heavily benefit from LFE. Highlanders as well, actually. Ooh, yeah, I'm pretty excited to see which mechs benefit from LFEs the most. Once again, we have to wait until the game finishes. Oh my god, this is so slow. Finishes patching to make our actual conclusion. I think that's the word. Looks to be that. Okay, so cutting computers for IS. The values differ. These are Innisphere versions of existing clan computers. So certain values differ. I'm not sure which values differ. Does it increase? Okay, laser range. Any of them increase laser range at all? What? PGI? Why do you make ISTC slightly weaker? Like they're 2% weaker than... What is this, dude? Like IS already barely has any tonnage to invest into extra equipment, and you make them 2% worse across the board. What? This doesn't make any sense. What the fuck? Okay, PGI, have it your way. I don't know how TCs will affect IS mechs at all. Like, I really don't. Because there's a lot of mechs on IS that you don't have enough tonnage to put extra equipment. In fact, you gotta invest into a larger engine. I have to see how it goes. I think one of the mechs that will benefit from it is probably a Cataphract with PPC doors. Then you put like a TC Mark III in it. It should be decent. Especially since PPC's travel so fucking slow. But I don't see a lot of mechs benefiting from targeting computers. But the fact that the values are less than clan, even though they are the same tonnage and slots, is pretty stupid. They should just have made them one-to-one copies of the clan TCs, in my opinion. Fuck the law and everything. Just make it one-to-one representations. Anyway, moving on. Laser AMS, cool. How much heat? Ooh, that's a lot. That's actually a fair bit. They're pretty much the same as standard AMS, except they produce heat instead of using ammo, but that's a fair bit of heat. So you probably want to only use laser AMS on mechs that are really heat efficient. Moving on to clan tech. Machine guns operate the same way, except that the shit is lighter. Moving on. Micro lasers are okay. Yeah, micro tonnage. I don't think there's any mech that really benefits on micro lasers right now. Like, it has to be a light mech that has a butt ton of energy hard points, which I don't think we really have as of yet. I think the highest amount of energy hard points we have on a light mech is like 7, which is on the Cheetah. But I have to see how it goes. Like, damage is not a lot as well. I was hoping it could bolt like 12 micro lasers or something, but alas, whatever. Micro pulsers, pretty much the same thing. Don't really give a shit. Heavy lasers. Okay, now this was this is gonna be really interesting. The range is not bad. Like I think the ranges are pretty much the same to their IS standard laser counterpart. Yeah, they are. I'm not sure about the smalls though. I think the smalls have actually worse range than IS lasers. What? PGI? What? So you make all of them double range for heavy mediums and heavy large, but you make the fucking heavy small not. Oh, what? Okay, whatever. Moving on. Damage is the same 1-for-1 across the board, same as it is on tabletop. The heat is actually not that bad. Like, you gain 3 damage, but you gain 2 heat. That's not too bad. They're less heat efficient than EL mediums, that's for sure, but that's not bad at all. Like the damage and everything, the damage and heat. Now, the main trade-off of mediums to heavy laser, ERs to heavies is the duration. Now that is a significant duration increase, like a 0.3 second duration increase for IS heavy mediums, and for IS heavy largers it's like a 0.4 second duration increase, which is pretty huge if you think about it. But how much damage they do for the tonnage investment, I'd say that they still have a place in the game. You just have to be really good with holding your burns. So I think AV lasers will have a place in this game. Pretty decent. Right off the bat, just looking at the sheer number, the raw numbers. Duration seems manageable, but it's still pretty high. We have to see how it works in game. But to be honest, I'd say it's fair for how much the tonnage investment is and how much damage it does. The significant duration increase is warranted. Light tag, don't give a shit. ATMs. So ATMs are basically, well, advanced tactical missiles that have multiple ranges and do multiple different damage values depending on their range. So an ATM, wait, hang on. Optimum range, max range. I'm guessing, oh god, they travel really slowly. Are they homing? ATMs are guided missiles with range-based damage potentials. Okay, so that explains the really slow projectile speed. I'm okay with that. So basically with ATMs, if you're like below 270 meters, you do 3 damage. If you're like up until, I'm not sure, I think it's like 700 meters, you do 2 damage. And beyond that, you do only 1 damage. So these weapons should be pretty decent for, like in a Mad Dog for example, and you get Alpine, you're not gonna be totally fucked, cause at least you can do ball damage range and you can do LRM damage. I mean, you can do damage at range, but it's homing, so that means that missile spread's not bad, but they're homing weapons once again. So yeah, it's gonna be okay. Cause homing weapons are almost always gonna be inferior to weapons that you can just manually aim, since you can actually direct the damage. Shots per ton is 72. That is not a lot. Actually, that's a fair bit. Cause if you fire them from sub 270, that's like 200 and that's 200 plus damage per ton. But it becomes less damage per ton if you use them further away, which is reasonable. I have to see this in game to make my final verdict, because right now, like looking at how it operates, I have to, like, because of the missile spread, taking the missile spread and the homing into account, it's gonna be a decent weapon. It's not gonna be amazing though, but like I said, I have to see it in game if this thing finishes patching. New equipment like active probe. Moving on, laser AMS, moving on, and still changes? Question mark? There's new flame event. Okay, that should be replaced with blah blah blah. Okay. Enhanced ECM systems. Boost power for enhanced tool has been reduced to 15%, down from 25%. But they don't nerf artillery. They nerf cool shot, but they don't nerf artillery and airstrikes. Oh Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway. Oh. Hang on. Annihilator, Cougar, Uzil, and Madcam Mark II are not available in the PTS. That's reasonable actually, but still. And there's a lot of visual bugs, a lot of audio bugs, whatever. So, those are my thoughts on the new tech. Man, I'm actually running out of breath from talking half an hour straight. I've been talking for half an hour straight. I'm running out of breath now. So, give me your thoughts about the new tech and their numbers down in the comment section down below. That was fucking redundant. Give it. Don't forget to leave a rating, and I would like to talk about what you guys think about the new shit over here. Like, I'm most excited for Rex and what am I most excited for? Rex and LFEs. Yeah. And for the clan side, what am I most excited for? Probably heavy lasers. Anyways, leave a comment, a rating, share it with your friends, and I hope to catch you all later. Bye bye.